Just make sure that it's connected here. Words on.
Good morning. I would like to welcome everybody to the Board of Directors meeting for the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency. We're meeting at the Center for Innovation and Economic Development, 214 Central Avenue, Dunkirk, New York. Also streaming live on YouTube and Zoom. September the 24th at 10:30. We'll go ahead and do roll call. Gary Henry is here. Brad Walters.
Here.
Dan Hetzenrader. Here. Tom Harmon.
Here.
Dan DeMart. Here. Kevin Muldowney.
Here.
You should have already received the minutes from August 27th and had a chance to review those. Do we have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The minutes have been approved. Before we get into new business, I'd like to take a moment to welcome Shelby to the IDA, and certainly thankful to have her. It's been quite a process that we went through to select the right person to fill in for Rich as he's taking a well-deserved retirement. And I think Mark has a few words that he wants to share.
Yeah. So I did talk about it at the last meeting about Shelby, and sort of went through her background and such, but I'm going to do it again because I think it's worth it. As you all know, Rich is looking to retire June 1st of next year. Did I get it right this time?
You did June 1st.
Yeah.
Of 26.
Yeah, I think so. So of course, Shelby will be the successor CFO until that time. She lives in Sugar Grove with her family. She has two boys. They're big hockey players, so pretty exciting.
I think that's what swayed Mark, you know. As soon as the hockey came up, that was it. It was pretty much. It didn't hurt. Yeah.
I asked her if she smoked cigars. Anyway, so Sugar Grove is where she lives. She went to Slippery Rock University, which is where my daughter went and played basketball for Slippery Rock, actually. And, you know, her list of courses are like mind-boggling, linear algebra, calculus, and the list goes on and on. She's really got a really good educational background. She has been working for Erie Management Group in Erie for a number of years. And she does cost accounting and budgeting and forecasting. She has risk analysis, cash management oversight, staff. She oversees 12 to 15, did oversee 12 to 15 staff accountants and controllers. She worked for Blue Stem Brands, used to be Orchard Brands, and she was a senior financial analyst. So she really, and she, you know, we actually through the interview process, we had about a dozen applicants, and we narrowed that down to about a half a dozen. We interviewed all of them. We selected sort of two to go to the next level, a second interview process. And, you know, Shelby just hit it out of the park. So we're really, really thrilled to have you, Shelby. And yesterday was her first day, and, you know, a lot of spreadsheet viewing yesterday, and there'll be more. So I don't know, Shelby, if you wanted to say anything or.
Yeah, so I am very excited to be here. I have a lot to learn. I had firsthand sight of that yesterday. So but I'm very excited. So I've got some big shoes to fill, that's for sure.
We'll go easy on you.
Thank you. Well, thank you.
Welcome to the IDA family.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and move into new business A, Stell, presented by Mark and Rose.
So I'm going to start out high level and talk about sort of the project. I don't want to steal. We have Tom Whitney here and Steve Alt is on the Zoom, and I don't know if Adam Walters is on there
Yes,
too.
Adam's on as well.
Adam is up there. I see him waving.
Oh yeah. Hey, Adam.
Hey.
So I don't want to say too much, but you know, the Gateway Loft project in Jamestown has been in the making for quite a number of years. It's on the Chautauqua River behind the hospital over in that area. We used to be located in the Crescent Tool Building right across the river from it. But it's a, 110 unit multifamily affordable housing complex with wraparound services. It's a $67 million project. And, they were looking for funding. We're seeking funding to sort of do the upfront environmental work that needed to be done. And what we're talking about is a sub-slab depressurization system. And I don't know what that is, but it sounds pretty important. And so, of course, we created the Brownfield Revolving Loan Fund last year, which we received a grant to do that, about $600,000. And this will be our first loan. We're able to make loans we're able to make grants to municipalities, but loans to everyone else, basically. And so this would be a 0.5% interest rate on a $325,000 loan at a 3-year term. And I might have stole Rosie's thunder on that one, but anyway, we're really excited that this project, or our part in this project, can sort of kickstart the whole thing. And so with that, I'll kick it over to, I don't know, Rosie.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. So before I get into the terms of the loan, I do want to note that the IDA Loan Committee does not review the Brownfield Revolving Loan Fund applications. A separate committee of staff and our environmental consultants, CNS companies, met and recommended this loan to be for approval. In addition to CNS companies, our qualified environmental professional reviewing the application and determining its eligibility, we did have the EPA review the application and property assessment forms and verify that it's also an eligible site and that it meets the requirements for the RLF funding. As Mark said, it is a $325,000 loan at a 0.5% interest rate. It is actually a 4-year term and still anticipates providing a lump sum payment when their Brownfield Cleanup Program tax credits are approved. And our collateral for this particular request is just a corporate guarantee from Stell. And would we like to pass it on, Tom?
Yeah.
Okay, so Tom, if you want to provide some details about the project, that would be great.
Okay. Yeah, both of you summed it up exceedingly well. So a little background, it got approved, went through the planning board approval, and it got approved in February of 2020. Unfortunately, March of 2020, everything went sideways with the economy and COVID. We had an investor at that point, and that investor actually has pulled out. They don't even invest in housing anymore. So we finally found another investor. It's been very difficult because it is a $67 million project in a small county. There's only 2 banks around here, M&T and KeyBank, that typically invest in tax credits. We just did the work with KeyBank doing the Dunkirk project here on Route 60. So they didn't want to invest again. M&T didn't have the appetite for it. So we finally found another investor. People had said right along that if this was in Buffalo, Rochester, some other bigger municipality, would have gotten funded a lot sooner, but we're finally happy. We've been working with HCR and HFA to go through the closing process. We passed site suitability approval by HCR. And so we don't know exactly when it's going to close yet. We're trying to get a definitive answer from HCR. But I'm anticipating sometime next year, a year from now, probably year to the end of the year next in 2025, unfortunately. But this funding will help tremendously because, as Mark said, we need this funding to get the subslab depressurization system to keep the people in the building right now. DEC has been on us in order to get the subslab depressurization system in. So I appreciate everybody support on this project and lending us some money on this.
That kind of work is typically not bankable, right? That upfront kind of work.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
why is this revolving loan fund is important.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it would be nice, if it was the funding was signed, sealed, and delivered, then yeah, it'd be easier to go to a bank. But this is helpful because it's not. We haven't closed on the financing. But then once we close on the financing, we wouldn't need this. So it's perfect funding right now. So we appreciate it.
Did you I don't know if. Adam or
Yes,
anybody
Steve or
else-
Adam, do you guys have anything to add?
No, just really appreciate everybody's efforts. This kind of remediation is exactly what this program was developed for. So we're very excited to put it to use, and it really is critical to get this environmental remediation going. Subslab depressurization, very important step in the remediation, the installation of that in the existing building. That'll ensure that any vapors coming from the ground, from contamination that exists, go out. And just really important. The DEC is really pushing for this. So we really appreciate everybody's help.
Yeah, nothing to add. That's great. Thank you.
I know this project has been going on for a while, Tom, and I think it might be helpful to provide a refresher on what the end result will be post remediation. If you could tell everybody what the
Okay.
project actually will be at the end.
Sure. Okay, so we'll have 110 units of affordable housing on the second, third, and fourth floors. Stell will be providing wraparound services to 40 units, 40 apartments. Folks, we provide housing for people with disabilities. The YWCA is also going to have 15 apartments there. And then 55 will be generic affordable housing. And then also on the first floor, we'll still have community helping hands there. There's the MHA in Chautauqua County has an office there. I'm not sure if St. Susan's is going to stay or not. They've been debating whether they want to stay or not. And it's a great location for a number of reasons, one of which is there's drug and alcohol counseling right across the street at the hospital there. So it's really, you can't find a project across the state that has so many support services all in one building like this. So I'm very pleased and happy that we're finally being able to move forward with an investor. So, and thank you all too for this funding too. This helps tremendously.
Great project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions from the board? Hearing none. Brad, can you move new business A1 for us?
Resolution 09242401 of the members of the County of Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency to approve Brownfield Revolving Loan Fund to Southern Tier Environments for Living Incorporated.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Second. Thank you. We'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Gary Henry votes aye. Brad Walters.
Aye.
Dan Hetzenrader.
Aye.
Tom Harmon.
Aye.
Dan Demart.
Aye.
Kevin Muldowney.
Aye.
The resolution is unanimously approved. So we certainly thank you for presenting today. This is an exciting project, you know, with the brownfield remediation, the additional housing, you know, we need in the area, all the community services that are on the first floor currently. So just a lot of things coming together. So hopefully this is the first step in getting this completed.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Really appreciate this. It's great. This is really helping get the ball rolling here. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Adam.
Next, we move into new business B, Lost Recording Studio, presented by Rich.
So in March of 2020, I had a conversation with the EDA about our All-Tech Loan Fund. And we all know what happened. The world was shut down. They had approved Mark's request for doing emergency working capital loans to 25 businesses in the amount of $10,000 each. We administered that program. There were no matching requirements, no equity requirements, no collateral requirements. It was, they wanted the money out there. They wanted to help the people that needed it. So we made 25 of these loans. They were approved by the board in batches, if you remember. We got the money out and we had one that went bad right away. The equipment got confiscated 2 weeks after and they were gone. It was just something that happened. The loan that we're talking about today is a Lost Recording Studio. It paid approximately half of the loan. And again, the assets are gone. The building, they're not in it anymore. And the collection attempts so far have been not successful. And we would be wasting good money to try to recollect this with going after it. So this is a motion that Millen has reviewed and put together for us, actually. And Millen, you want to talk a little about the resolution? Or?
Well, I object to good money being wasted because the money would be coming to me. And, you know, my estimate for Rich was probably 2 to 3 times the maximum amount. So, you know, it really is just, as Rich said, good money after bad. it looks like the amount is so low that it's not really worth chasing, and there's probably no assets, worth recovering. So this just allows us to write it off.
We've allowed for it. It's in our allowance, so.
To be honest with you, we actually thought, there'd be more defaults, but, so we're thrilled that there was only two.
Any other questions from the board? Dan Hetzenrader, can you move new business B2 for us?
Yes, resolution 09-24-24-02 of the members of the County of Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency to authorize dismissal of an Altech loan to Lost Recording Studio LLC in the amount of $10,000.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Gary Henry votes aye. Brad Walters.
Aye.
Dan Hetzenrader.
Aye.
Tom Harmon.
Aye.
Dan Demart.
Aye.
Kevin Muldowney.
Aye.
And so the resolution is unanimously approved. Next, we'll move into new business C, revision to the loan approval for Tim and Edmund LLC. Again, presented by Rich and Millen.
So earlier this year, the board had approved a loan to Tim and Edmund on the amount of $400,000. We were participating behind the bank and their equity in a renovation of some additional space on Fluvanna Avenue in Jamestown for the New Flyer Corporation. Since that loan was approved, there was some additional expense and work done at the site. So instead of the bank coming in at $500,000, they came in at $700,000. And the equity went from $120,000 to $250,000. Our loan remains the same. But when we look at our loan to value on the original loan, we were at 77% loan to value once we subtract the bank. Now we'll be at 62. So while we're lending the same amount of money, we've increased our position a little bit, and it's a great project. New Flyer is very happy. They had the COO of the MTA there about a month ago to see what they were doing. So things are going well there. So we needed to come back to the board to get approval because we're behind just a little bit more money.
Exactly. Loan amount the same, collateral's the same, we're just further behind. But as Rich says, since the value of the property is greater, the equity is greater, and therefore the recommendation is that, it does not really affect the loan collateral. But since the prior approval said how much we're going to be behind in the bank, and now the bank is putting in more, we need new approval. Didn't even, in all candor, bother drafting up a written resolution. So I think just an oral approval as presented by Rich is sufficient.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Tom, would you go ahead and give us that motion?
C, revision of the loan approval for Tim and Edmund LLC. Dash presented by Richard Dixon and Mylan Tyler.
Yep. Okay, and do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Gary Henry votes aye. Brad Walters.
Aye.
Dan Hetzenrader.
Aye.
Tom Harmon.
Aye.
Dan Demart.
Aye.
Kevin Muldowney.
Aye.
So the resolution is approved. Next, we'll move into the executive director's report.
Yep. As always, I'll be short and sweet. I wanted to talk a little bit about our Live CHQ, Choose CHQ branding initiative. We rolled that out 6 months ago or so in conjunction with a new website. Sort of have two things. You have Live CHQ, which is more has to do with the quality of life and promoting the county to get more people to come here, want to live here, stay here. And then the Choose CHQ really has more to do with economic development, sort of putting all the economic development entities under one brand. We've created a lot of social media, printed brochures, etc. And we've really pushed it out, and the analytics are quite favorable. We've had something like 40,000 page views between the two, of which about 4,500 are really looking at the IDA website and the Choose CHQ home site. So we're pretty pleased with that. And then we also, if you recall, back in 2018, we developed a relocation guide. Sort of tells the story about the county and about the all the great things there are to do here, all the great companies. It looked at agriculture and manufacturing and tourism and lists all the agencies, and it really does a nice job of sort of telling the story about the county. And we printed 13,000 copies and we distributed all those. And then we just updated that relocation guide. I think we printed 3,000 or 4,000, 2,000. And we got all of those out, but for a couple of hundred. Our business development managers have been contacting all the HR contacts at the businesses and have been pushing those out. And those relocation guides and the link to that electronically is very helpful for their HR department. So we've got a lot of really positive feedback about them leveraging that to get more people to want to come and live here. And so we're doing a reprint. I think we're going to do 3,000 more. And we're going to continue to do that, push those out. We also are looking at an event in November where at the Harbor Hotel, we're inviting HR people from all of our business contacts to come and we want to talk about all of our marketing swag, if you will, and our relocation guide, and really work with them to really use this information in a useful way. And then we also, Monica's been working on a workforce ambassador program. They had their first meeting of ambassadors where when new people are coming in for either they've taken the job or they're looking to take the job, where we have people that will take them around the county and show them all the great stuff. So really thrilled about that as well. And there's a lot more on that, but I'll leave it there for now. Ripley's coming along. Ripley shovel ready site's coming along well. That's a $16 million project. We have 12 million in the bank, if you will. We submitted 3 grants. IIJA, which is an Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, ARC grant, 4 million. We submitted ARC Power grant for 2 million and EDA grant, Economic Development Administration, for $3 million. Those, and I make it sound really simple, like we submitted the grant. These are big lifts, a lot of information and a lot of work from the staff, Nate and Monica and Jason. I mean, everyone has been involved in that. So, we're crossing our fingers, feeling really good about it. And if we hit on all those, we'll have everything we need. If we don't, we can scale the project back if we had to. We could not make the road 3,000 feet long. It could be 2,000 feet long in the water and the sewer. And then also the other part of that we're working on right now is the extension of the electric. So we're working with National Grid. They've got a preferred route to extend. It's about a mile, I believe, and probably will affect couple of dozen or more property owners. Will need to get easements. So we're going through that whole process of working through that to extend the electric. So that's coming along really well. We're also working on the RFQ or RFP. We don't know which way we're going to go exactly for the engineering work that needs to be done. And also for the overall management of the project. And then we'll release that RFP and hire a consultant to actually do that work. So that's sort of in a nutshell where we're at with that. Mason Industrial Park, if you recall, this board approved us expending $90,000 of IDA money, which is being matched with $90,000 from the county to make Mason Industrial Park more shovel ready. And when I say that, it's all the environmental due diligence stuff. And so Clark Patterson Lee is working through that. They're probably a month and a half or so, 2 months away from completing that. And we're also looking at the potential of extending the gas line, maybe stubbing in the road, the water, the sewer. And so that it's doing everything we possibly can to make that shovel ready. So we're working through that. And what else? I think, we did go to Artone had a 50th year celebration last week. The county executive was there. IDA was represented there. I saw Gary and IDA staff. So that was great. And we continue to meet with businesses and I don't know if you know this, but we have a project meeting every Tuesday where we all get together via Zoom and we talk about we have a spreadsheet of probably 50 plus projects that are either in the works, in the queue, starting somewhere along that continuum that we are always talking about and trying to push forward through the process. So, and we'll continue to do that. So I think that's all I have.
Thank you. Busy as always.
Yep.
All right. Next, we'll move into the treasurer's report, and I'm gonna assume because it's the second day that Rich is.
It won't take her long, no, trust me. All right, so we have this again, a report to the IDA. We are not having a critic meeting today, and Kayla and Shelby will be reviewing the critic and presenting at the next board meeting. Next board meeting, we will need critic, CRC, and IDA. We have to approve the budgets put into the Paris report for the state of New York. So we'll get out our crystal ball and put together some numbers. Just draw your attention to the balance sheet. A few items I want to talk about. And a very healthy cash position. Under the IDA, there's a lot of cash there. Look down under deferred revenue. See, we have almost $2.6 million, and the majority of that money is deferred and already earmarked for special projects. So it's not like that money is just sitting there. The Alltech CARES and CRLF fund, we don't have a lot of money to lend out. We have spent probably half of that Alltech money in the month of September. So loan money is tight. There's a demand out there and a need, but we're working through the cash flow, and that will be the next spreadsheet that Kayla reviews with Shelby is how far out are we getting the money with the principal and interest that's returned, and how much can we commit to loan customers. Next, we'll turn to the statement of revenue and expense. The IDA is a little bit to the negative at this point in time. The fees, we'll get to those when we get to the variance report. And the CARES Act, again, due to the right to the increase in the bad debt expense is down under there, but everything else is doing fine. Turn to the variance report. So our application and administrative fees, while we are ahead of target for now, we will be substantially further ahead at the end of the year. We have some very large projects that are going to be closing here, so that variance will be more to the positive, which is a good thing. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the interest income. Continue to still make more money than we had budgeted on the money that we're not lending out. Money markets are paying really well. They'll come down a little here with a 0.5 point reduction, but still we're doing well there. On the expense side, the payroll and benefits, we have some allocations that we're going to be doing to critic there, so that should come in line. Professional fees. A lot of the professional fees, we had over $40,000 in expense for the loan fund or an appraisal to come in and look at some equipment that we're going to be talking about in executive session. And we had some legal fees for some projects that normally the client would have paid for. The projects never got off the ground, and They never signed a preliminary agreement. But these were very crucial projects and we felt it was worth it to try to push them along. So we got a little bit of that there. Everything else is just a timing issue and I predict we're gonna have another outstanding year this year and maybe next year will look even better. Help people make sure of it. That's all I have unless questions.
Yeah, any questions from the board? We have a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
A second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The treasurer's report has been accepted. At this point, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing the financial or credit history of a particular person or corporation. In particular, I would like to discuss the status of our loan portfolio and the financial and credit status of some of our borrowers. Do I hear such a motion?
I'll move.
Okay, Dan, and then I'll take a second.
Thank you.
Tom, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll enter executive session.
Custom live stream service right next to it up there at the top. I'll track down and stop.
Here knows what Gary's going to say next.
We are back in open session. I would like to report that there were no actions or votes taken during an executive session and therefore no minutes of the meeting were taken. Do we have any old business to come before the board? Hearing none, do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Thank you. And do we have a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The meeting is adjourned. Our next meeting will be October the 22nd at 10:30. We'll be back in Jamestown at the BWB building. Thank you.
Nice. 1 hour.
Okay.
Yeah.